These hands are strong, this heart is wide, this mind is wise. These hands are strong, this heart is wide, I am on your side.
These hands are strong, this heart is wide, this mind is wise. These hands are strong, this heart is wide, I am on your side. These hands are strong, this heart is wide, this mind is wise. These hands are strong, this heart is wide, I am on your side. These hands are strong, this heart is wide, this mind is wise. These hands are strong, this heart is wise, I am on your side. These hands are strong, this heart is wide, this mind is wise. These hands are strong, this heart is wise, I am on your side.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the live in-person and live Zoom worship service of the Universalist Unitarian Church of Riverside. Our opening hymn this morning is number 188, Come, Come, Whoever You Are, from the Gray Hymnal. Feel free to sing as the Spirit moves you. Please stand in body or spirit and join us in singing hymn number 188, Come, Come, Whoever You Are.
Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of living, ours is no caravan of despair. Come yet again, come, 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 whoever you are, condemn, worshipper, whoever you living, ours is no worshipper, lover is living, ours is no caravan of despair. Come yet again, whoever you are, condemn, worshipper, whoever you living, ours is no worshipper, lover is living. Come yet again, come.
Thank you for joining us here in person, and thank you for joining us remotely by Zoom, where we will continue live streaming and posting these services on our YouTube channel for our virtual attendees. I'm Ren Mansour, a member of the Worship Committee, and I will be your worship associate today. Other members of the Worship Committee who make this service possible include Alec Peck, our music coordinator, who is filling in for Adam Wedekine, who monitors our visual and online connections, and Kate Lewicki, who is in charge of our sound system. We welcome you to join us this morning with an open mind and an open heart, and with muted electronic devices, please. We invite you to leave your worries and defenses at the door and trust that what happens in worship is inspiring and powerful. Together, we affirm that this day and our being together can make each of us braver, more compassionate, and wiser as we begin a new day and a new week. Today is the second Sunday of Advent, taken from the Latin word adventus. Advent means the beginning of an event or the arrival of a person. In the Christian tradition, this is a time leading up to Christmas, and Christians mark the 4 Sundays in Advent as a way to prepare their hearts for the coming of Christ. For non-Christians, it can be a special time to incorporate the abiding qualities of hope, peace, joy, and love. The theme of the second Sunday of Advent is peace. This is a time of coming together, of building a community of faith that is open to all. Bill, would you like to come up and light the hope and peace candles?
Seasonal holy arson.
Thank you, Bill. Once again, we welcome all of you to today's service. Before we move into the service, there are a few announcements we would like to share. We will mention several websites, email addresses, and phone numbers. At the end of the service, we will leave up a slide with all this information, and it is available on our website. The monthly UCR newsletter comes out the first of every other month by email and per request by postal mail. If you have something newsworthy or would like to contribute, email uuchurchofriverside.calendar@gmail.com or call the church office at 951-686-6515. If you would like to be added to our mailing list, please contact the church office. The book club meets on the second Monday of the month at 6:30 p.m. in the annex. The next meeting is tomorrow, December 9th, and the current book for discussion is The Road Less Traveled by M. Scott Peck. The Church Council will meet this Friday, December 13th, at 4 p.m. in the church annex. Women's Federation will be hosting an all-church Christmas party on Saturday, December 14 at 1:30 p.m. in the parish hall. Join us for a fun, lighthearted gathering. Bring a small gift under $10 for the annual White Elephant Exchange. Light refreshments are also appreciated. Welcome to all our visitors today, and welcome back to our old friends. We would love to meet you during coffee hour after the service. If you are comfortable doing so, please give us a wave so that we can recognize you later. And for those on Zoom, you can use the Zoom wave gesture or just wave at your camera. We'd love to chat with you out in the parish hall, where you can also find our visitors book. Please leave your name before you leave so that we know you were here, and leave your contact information if you want updates on church events. There will also be a short discussion after the service to share your reflections with us. For those online, the best way to get added to the mailing list is to email the church office at admin@uuchurchofriverside.org. And now, I invite you to sit back and take a slow, deep breath as we move into the worship hour. You are welcome to read with me the mission statement of our church. Our mission is to foster a diverse religious community that celebrates life, affirms the individual, encourages spiritual growth and open thought, and works to advance social justice and environmental sustainability. Today's speaker is Dr. Margaret Johnston. Dr. Margaret Johnston has been a vocal, pun intended, participant in UU churches for the past 5 years. Originally from Chicago, Margaret has continued to move their way westward through their graduate studies, but has always found time to return for summer sailboat racing. When not running physics simulations for their research, Margaret spends their time knitting, singing, and discovering new dishes to cook in their beloved Dutch oven. Our sermon today is Hope is an Action. When our lives or our society aren't going in the direction we want them to, we can feel frustrated and powerless. Feelings of hope may seem trite or misguided, or may seem useless when given no clear outlet. But perhaps there is more to hope than just the feeling. We have 2 lightings of sacred flames. The first is a remembrance candle for the indigenous peoples who continue to cry out for justice and self-determination. We remember that underneath us is the unceded land of several indigenous peoples, the Cahuilla, the Luiseño, and the Cupeño. We light this sacred flame in their remembrance and in recognition of their ongoing struggle for freedom and dignity. Our second sacred flame is our own chalice, the symbol of our faith. We are blessed with this space and opportunity to strive to live out our common principles, to bring justice, equity, and compassion into our daily lives, to resist all that threatens the earth and her people, and to be part of a world community with peace, liberty, and justice for all. Let these thoughts carry us forth as we journey and worship together. Today's chalice lighting words are, "We Carry Our Faith into Action" by Crystal Hogan. We ignite this flame, symbol of our faith, to beckon us into community, warm our hearts with love, and give us a light to follow as we carry our faith into action. Our hymn now is number 121, "We'll Build a Land," from the Gray Hymnal. Feel free to sing as the Spirit moves you. Please stand in body or spirit and join us in singing hymn number 121, "We'll Build a Land."
We'll build a land where we bind up the broken. We'll build a land where the captives go free, where the oil of gladness dissolves all mourning. Oh, we'll build the brightest land that can be. Come, build a land where sisters and brothers, anointed by God, we can create peace, where justice shall roll down like waters, and peace like an ever-flowing stream. We'll build a land where we bring the good tidings to all the afflicted and all those who mourn, and we'll give them garments instead of ashes. Oh, we'll build a so bold. Come with the land where sisters and brothers, anointed by God, may then create peace, where justice shall roll down like waters, and peace like an ever-flowing stream. Come, build a land where the mantles of praises resound from spirits once faint and once weak, where like oaks of righteousness stand her people. Oh, come build the land, my people we seek. Come build a land where sisters and brothers, anointed by God, may then create peace, where justice shall roll down like waters, and peace like an ever-flowing stream.
This portion of our service is to support our beloved historical church. This can be accomplished several ways. In addition to the weekly collection, you may send your checks to the church address, which is shown here. You may contribute by PayPal using the QR code, which is shown here, as well as on the church website and in the newsletter. Stater Brothers Market gives our church a rebate on Stater grocery cards, which we will have in church each Sunday. You get the full value, and the church also receives a percentage for free. Please see Dinah Rowe or Robert Brown in the church office if you are interested in purchasing the gift cards. Please donate as the Spirit moves you, by whatever method works best for you. Thank you for your generosity. To those who give of their time and their talent, thank you for your generous care and attention. To those who have joined us here today, thank you for the gift of your presence. Will our ushers now please come forward to receive the collection? Our next hymn is number 1010, We Give Thanks, from the Teal hymnal. Feel free to sing as the Spirit moves you. Please stand in body or spirit and join us in singing hymn number 1010, We Give Thanks. Our meditation today is the poem Hope is the Thing with Feathers by Emily Dickinson. Hope is the thing with feathers that perches in the soul and sings the tune without the words and never stops at all. And sweetest in the gale is heard, and sore must be the storm that could abash the little bird that kept so many warm. I've heard it in the chillest land and on the strangest sea, and yet never in extremity it asked a crumb of me. Now let us pause for a moment of silence and reflection. And now, I would like to introduce Margaret, speaking to us on Hope is an Action.
I want to talk to you about hope. And I won't bury the lead. Here's the quote that started me thinking about hope the way that I do. This is attributed to the Talmud, a Jewish source of wisdom, but like almost all things, the truth is more complicated. It appears to be a mishmash of a few verses from the Torah, translations of those verses, and reinterpretations of those translations. This is, of course, what happens when you have a religion spanning 4 millennia with an emphasis on scholarship. But nonetheless, it's ended up as quite a nice phrase. Do not be daunted by the enormity of the world's grief. Do justly now. Love mercy now. Walk humbly now. You are not obligated to complete the work, but neither are you free to abandon it. For a phrase that doesn't contain the word hope in it anywhere, nor in any of the versions that I could find, this may seem like an odd place to start. But I suppose that's a consequence of my perhaps odd view of what hope actually is. I often hear of hope as a feeling, that wash of optimism after hearing a difficult but uplifting story, that spark of, wait, you really mean it? When somebody gives you long-awaited good news. And I agree that those feelings are part of hope, but they're not the only part. I worry that hope, the feeling, can become something trite, easily dismissed, downright useless, or in the worst case, actively harmful, as we've seen happen to thoughts and prayers, a phrase uttered by people with the power but not the willingness to prevent the tragedies that elicit their platitudes. Words that have become empty because they lack action. Not only do I think that hope is incomplete without action, but more strongly, I think action brings about hope. I know in my own life, I am much more likely to feel those hopeful feelings after doing an action that I think might be beneficial. When I enact the reason for hope, it brings me the feelings of hope. I have a couple analogies because I find that, like much of the poetry I read, I stumble with trying to articulate the thing directly. I have to approach it from the side, look indirectly, tell you about what the thing is like, and hope that you'll understand what it is. Hope is like a pile of smoldering charcoal. It is in some sense wasted if it's left to burn out and nothing is cooked over it. Hope is the walking song that helps keep up your energy over the long trek to the distant hill. Hope is the working song that motivates and synchronizes a group so all the harvest can be collected, or all the railroad ties laid straight and even. Hope is a lantern. Beautiful as the flame may be, the point of it is to light your way. Hope, the feeling, is the tool that helps to make something, helps to do something, gives me the fuel to make a difference. But it's the something that actually brings the benefit to us, that realizes, literally makes real the potential. When I heard that quote from the Talmud, something in me was jostled. The overthinking parts of me, worried about unintended consequences and in for a penny, in for a pound, mission creep, they were consoled. You are not obligated to complete the work. You just have to get to it. You don't have to figure out the perfect, most optimized action. You just have to figure out the one you can do. It is an inescapable fact that things will change. The world 1 year, 5 years, 50 years from now will be different. Hope is believing that different can mean better, not by fairy dust or deus ex machina, but by our actions, individual, interpersonal, and collective. As the author John Green writes in his memoir, I really believe that. I really believe that hope is the correct response to the arc of history. Because the arc of history bends toward justice, not because of an innate, inevitable, immutable quality that we passively watch as it goes by without us, but because we bend it. We bend it when we enact broader legislative protections for marginalized people. We bend it when we collectively bargain for better working conditions. We bend it when we create and promote and enact vaccination campaigns that ease the disease burden of individual people and broader healthcare systems. We bend it when we become blood or bone marrow or organ donors. Hope is believing that different can mean better. And hope is making sure that better actually happens. I find the sentiment from Howard Zinn compelling. To be hopeful in bad times is not just foolishly romantic. It is based on the fact that human history is a history not only of cruelty, but also of compassion, sacrifice, courage, kindness. What we choose to emphasize in this complex history will determine our lives. If we see only the worst, it destroys our capacity to do something. If we remember those times and places, and there are so many, where people have behaved magnificently, this gives us the energy to act, and at least the possibility of sending this spinning top of a world in a different direction. I have found that I have little use for any worldview, whether stoic or despairing or blindingly optimistic, that discourages me from action, that tells me to obsess about my internal state to the exclusion of where I fit in the world, what I can do in the world. There is much to do, injustice to fight, people to care for, dishes and laundry to clean and use and clean and use and clean and use, letters and emails and obituaries to write. And among all that, we must also actively make time to rest, to recharge, to do maintenance, to be caretakers of ourselves and our stuff and our communities. And we have to remind ourselves why the effort of changing and being in the world is worth it, to have some fun despite it all. This is not easy. It is not simple or trivial or inevitable, but we can do it. I have to believe that I can do it. And that for me is hope, a postulate, an assumption, an unprovable guiding belief. Hope is something I have to believe in, and in turn, it's something I have to make real, something I must see happen. There's a short conversation in Terry Pratchett's The Hogfather that sticks with me. This story is, at its core, extremely silly, as is typical for Pratchett. It follows Death's granddaughter, Susan, on her quest to save Hogswatch Night, because Santa Claus, the Hogfather, is being hunted down by the auditors of reality who want to get rid of all the complicated mess human belief is creating, including fantastical beings like the Tooth Fairy, who you all know collects children's teeth in exchange for money, and the Hogfather, who drives a sleigh pulled by flying hogs to deliver presents to children on December 32nd. And Death is a 7-foot skeleton with a literal scythe, and in the TV adaptation, he has this carved foam face and glowing LED eyes. It's a real hoot. You should check it out. But the story wraps up with this wonderfully heartfelt exchange between the protagonist, Susan, and Death, after they've just saved the Hogfather and Hogswatch Night together. Susan begins. You're saying humans need fantasies to make life bearable. No, humans need fantasy to be human. As practice, you have to start out believing the little lies. So we can believe the big ones? Yes. Justice, mercy, duty, that sort of thing. They're not the same at all. You think so? Then take the universe and grind it down to the finest powder. Sieve it through the finest sieve and show me one atom of justice, one molecule of mercy. And yet you act as if there is some ideal order in the world, as if there is some rightness by which the universe may be judged. Yes, but people have got to believe that, or what's the point? My point, exactly. There is work to be done with our hands, our hearts, our minds. We are not obligated to complete it, but neither are we free to abandon it. We live in hope that life will get better, that it will go on, that the impact we make with our wild and precious life can be positive and helpful. As we heard Emily Dickinson put it in the meditation, hope is the thing with feathers that perches in the soul and sings the tune without the words and never stops at all. Before we go, I have a challenge for you. We'll start it off here, but you can take it out into your life. You don't have to have the answer right now. Let's take a moment to think deeply. I invite you to settle into your seat. Maybe scrunch your shoulders and let them go. Close your eyes if you wish. Take a comfortable breath and think about a couple things in your life that you enjoy, that you're grateful that you get to do. Think of some things you wish you could do more of. Maybe you want to pick up an old hobby again, or check in with a friend who you haven't seen in a while, or check out that new coffee shop, or finally go on that stargazing trip to Joshua Tree. Whatever the case is, think about the things you want to do more of. Pick one of them for just now. Think about how good it could be, how exciting or funny or silly it would be. Now think of something you can do that'll make that just a little more likely to happen. What would make it easier? Would it help to have somebody to teach you or go with you? Would sitting outside or in the library or in a cafe be the change of scenery you need? Would making a calendar event be a helpful reminder? Friends, do not be daunted by the enormity of the possibilities. You are not obligated to complete this challenge, but I hope you get started. Blessed be.
Our closing hymn is number 168, One More Step, from the Gray Hymnal. Feel free to sing as the Spirit moves you. Please stand in body or spirit and join us in singing hymn number 168, One More Step. The benediction today is a poem that was created collaboratively, but its final form and the distinctly Dr. Seuss-like style was largely collated by Tumblr user Mumblesplash. Hope is a weapon. Hope is a skill. Hope is a plant you can care for or kill. Hope is a discipline, something you choose, hard to stop looking for, easy to lose. Hope isn't something to have or to take. If you can't find it, it's something you make. Make it from willpower, make it from spite. Learn how to weaponize love in a fight. Hope is a shield and a thing to defend, an end in itself, and a means to an end. So wherever you look, be it near or far, know hope can be found wherever you are. Namaste, Amen, and blessed be. Thank you, Margaret, for sharing your valuable time and insights with us this morning. It is sincerely appreciated, and we look forward to seeing you again. We will now have 10 to 15 minutes for discussion following the service for those who wish to share their thoughts and observations on today's topic. Please be aware that this will be included on the video that is posted. For the rest of you, you are now welcome to adjourn into the parish hall. Would anyone like to come up and share their thoughts?
Okay, good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, and Dr. Johnston, thank you for that excellent homily. I'm a public health nurse, and in nursing, we have the rules of three. We have the rules of three, and death is imminent in the following three situations: 3 minutes without oxygen, 3 days without water, 3 minutes without oxygen, 3 days without water, 3 weeks without food, and 3 months without hope. So this was very good. Your mom must be so proud of you.
She is.
This is, for those of you who've known me for any length of time at all, a big time for the Christmas blues to strike. And sometimes you have the hymns and stuff on one side, but you look, it seems such a small bank of sand against such a large ocean. And you look and say, how am I going to keep hope going when the night is dark and the natives are not only restless but incredibly stupid? And then you sort of, being a pagan, I'm supposed to go back into history when given any coaxing at all, is that you look back at candles lit since before the time when metal was forged. And you say, they kept the faith. Now, they weren't necessarily juggling nukes and idiots. Okay, wait a second, I take that back. We're always juggling idiots. Frequently, I have played that part very, very well. But somehow, in the middle of it all, the idea that it's hope is what you manifest, even if it isn't fashionable. Hope is something you create out of whole cloth if you need to, or half cloth, or just a whisper of thread of ether. But it's kind of hard to sit there and push something all the way into being a noun when it's mostly a concept. But it can be done. And this very holiday that approaches us is the idea that things can get better. And might as well get better in my neighborhood. And if it's going to get better in my neighborhood, maybe I should do a little bit of work on that subject and help it along when I can. It's a beginning.
Is there anyone online who would like to share their thoughts? Well, if there are no further comments, thank you, everyone, for sharing your thoughts. And now, please join us in the parish hall for further fellowship and coffee hour.